Donald Trump campaign advisor Corey Lewandowski made the grave mistake of going on Ari Melber's show tonight. And Ari Melber is a journalist who actually holds those accountable who come on his show. And it's the reason that you saw Corey Lewandowski immediately regret once Ari started pushing back on him. And I see more Trump officials go on Ari Melber's show. And if that was a different CNN or MSNBC host, it would make me a little bit uncomfortable platforming those people. But when someone like Ari Melber is the one doing the interview, actually holding them accountable, it completely calms my nerves. Because as we will see later on in this video, Ari was so fed up with the lying that he just kicked him off the show, because we do not need to tolerate nonsense and lies and the MAGA agenda being pushed on MSNBC or being pushed on any platform for that matter. And that is exactly what Ari did. Called him out, shut him down, and kicked him off the show. And we're going to get into all of that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell if you haven't already. It really goes a long way in supporting this show. Now let's get into Ari pressing Corey Lewandowski on Donald Trump's Project 2025 agenda.
People are allowed to do. I don't know if you support, as on behalf of the campaign, policies that say a man or a woman can't leave their state for a certain reason. That's a big liberty crackdown. What do you say to people who can read these two things and say, okay, Trump and the platform are basically 25 on abortion?
Look, I know nothing about Project 2025. I've never read their document. You say it's 900 plus pages. I've never read it. I can speak on behalf of the president. I'm certain he's never read a 925-page document that Project 2025 put out.
My favorite part about this clip, and it might be my favorite from the entire interview, is that not only does Lewandowski act just like Trump and try to deny the existence of Project 2025, deny that he knows about it. Trump always says, oh, I don't like some of the parts of Project 2025. Some of them are good, though, but I know nothing about it. Just an admission that he does. But my favorite part of what he says is he said he's sure that Donald Trump has never read a document that's 925 pages. Just calling his boss stupid. Something, of course, that we know that Donald Trump never read any of the documents or the information that he was given when he was president, that they always had to dumb it down or, put it in a coloring book. That's not actually true, but that's kind of how I imagine it. But of course, it's not true that Donald Trump knows nothing about Project 2025. The only truth is that he probably hasn't read it, but he certainly does know of its existence. And it would be the agenda, of course, that he would implement in a second term. And to try to deny it and run away from it, of course, is just an admission that Donald Trump is not only dangerous, but a liar as well. And we just can't trust him. Of course, these are things that we know, but it is an important reminder. And that's what Project 2025 serves to do. And another issue where this is incredibly clear is the issue of abortion, which Ari Melber pressed Lewandowski, and he said this.
In one state may not happen in a different.
Kansas went against Trump, went against your campaign. Trump has been hiding on what he's going to do on the Florida state rule, which is up, and he lives there. Are we going to get a position from him on that?
Look, if the president wants to weigh in, I'm sure he'll weigh in at the ballot box like every American gets the opportunity to do. I think
this is an issue that Donald Trump has tried and failed to navigate. Obviously, we start from the place where Donald Trump is the person singularly most responsible in the world for the overturning of Roe v. Wade. And so there's nothing that he can say to pretend that he's pro-choice or that he supports reproductive freedoms as he wants to say now. Donald Trump is posting on Truth Social, much to the chagrin of the conservative movement, that he's going to be great for reproductive freedom, that he will defend IVF. And of course, we know this is a lie. It's the reason why he can't actually come out and say which way he'll vote on Florida's abortion amendment. And it's why Donald Trump is caught in this difficult place in his campaign that's so funny that he can't pretend to support a woman's right to choose, because if he does, MAGA gets mad at him. And if he doesn't, of course, it just reinforces what we already know about Donald Trump, but no one believes his lying on either side of the aisle. And so Donald Trump is just stuck in this really hard place where he keeps flip-flopping back and forth, something that Republicans are trying to say Kamala Harris is doing. And someone who did a great job calling out that lie was Jessica Tarlov.
You are competing against Trump, who has a long record of doing... I'm for a national abortion ban. I'm not.
Talk about her.
Well, but I'm talking about the race that she's participating in. And she's running against someone who wants to ban TikTok, then doesn't want to. I'm for a national abortion ban. Now I'm not. I'm for visas for highly skilled migrants. Now I'm not.
Core to the values of MAGA is, of course, hypocrisy and projection, and that's exactly what's going on here. The same people who are saying that Kamala Harris is flip-flopping on issues when really her policy positions have just evolved in her time as vice president, something that we would hope from our politicians, from our elected officials, that they would see that they can better implement policy and thus change their mind. Of course, something Donald Trump has never done in his entire life is change or adapt to the betterment of anyone else. But this is also the same group of people that is trying to accuse Kamala Harris of not wanting to defend her policy positions, not being capable of defending them, which is actually the case for Donald Trump. It's why he was so scared to debate Kamala Harris and wanted to get out of it, because he just can't defend his lies. And neither could Corey Lewandowski during this interview. And it's why Ari Melber just kicked him off his show. And we're going to get into that. But before, just a little bit of context, Ari Melber was defending comments that he made about Donald Trump during the RNC. And he was doing so after he called out Corey Lewandowski for lies that he had previously told on his program. And now let's check that out.
Donald Trump
now we're at the end of the interview.
On his
you want me to respond to that?
Okay.
I'd be happy to, since we're on live air. I'm gonna respond to you on live air. I quoted a New York Times article that said, at the convention, Donald Trump was his own biggest prop. It was a New York Times quote about how he had become such an important figure in rebounding from what was a horrific assassination attempt. Fox News, which Corey, I said I'd address it. I'm going to finish. Fox News, many viewers may not know about this, but apparently you do, and some do. Fox News, which has been caught in defamation, ran a false piece, falsely stating that I said something else that I didn't say. So I stand on that. I stand on the New York Times
quote.
So you
didn't say this bandage was a prop, a spectacle from a candidate who was obsessed with spectacles.
Mr. Lewandowski, I did not say that. That is a false quote.
Right here. It's clear.
What you have is a false quote. What you have is a false quote. And I'm putting you on notice. If you continue to repeat falsely that I said that, you will be potentially in a defamation situation, because I didn't say that. But I understand that you're working off the internet, which is a lot of false information.
This is what it says.
I wish you luck with that. And Corey Lewandowski, we gave you time. I appreciate you coming on.
President for that.
Thank you for joining me. Corey.
Good on Ari Melber. I'd like to see that more. Again, it kind of concerns me when I see a mainstream media host bring on a Trump official, because usually they just let them lie. They don't hold them accountable. They kind of get walked all over because MAGA doesn't really, of course, care about the truth. So they're happy to go on air and lie. But Ari Melber shutting him down, kicking him off air, cutting the interview off there, I absolutely love it, after holding him accountable on several issues. And again, this is what we need to do more of, because especially right now, as the media is, I don't think, doing a very good job talking about the way that Kamala Harris is running her campaign right now, we need to continue to call them out. Because what I hear so much in the right-wing ecosystem in their echo chambers is that Kamala Harris is afraid to do an interview. She's afraid to debate. Of course, this isn't true. She's been incredibly busy putting together her policy positions during this campaign, a campaign that's only about 40 days old. And while she's actually putting together policy, Donald Trump is ranting and rambling in these fake press conferences, putting those in quotes because they're not even real. And the media is saying he's answering questions. He's talking about policy. It's not true. And in every address, every speech Kamala Harris gives, she's talking about the specifics of her agenda in a real substantive way, something Donald Trump can't do. And Donald Trump has never been able to do that. And he was called out just for that. Mr. 2 weeks away. This is 2 weeks away. My plan for that is 2 weeks away on Fox News. Funny enough, the people who are perpetrating this lie. And so I want to check out that clip.
We are, and when it comes to her economic agenda, she gave very specific things when it comes to her housing plan. I think we all can, whether you agree or not, she gave specifics. Unlike Donald Trump says, I'm going to have a big, bold, beautiful health care plan. Well, what the hell is in it? We don't know.
I think it's especially important to call out the media for suggesting that Kamala Harris is afraid to debate or to interview or to defend her policy positions, or that she's flip-flopping. I think it's especially important because that is the case with Donald Trump, of course. Donald Trump is the one who is fearful of addressing his agenda. He wants to run away from Project 2025. He doesn't want to talk about overturning Roe v. Wade because he knows it's so damaging for him politically. But it's not just that. He's also very fearful of a debate with Kamala Harris because he knows how much she would embarrass him, just wipe the floor with him. And he is so afraid, but he doesn't want to talk about that. And he wants to have his MAGA Fox host defend him, to make propaganda on his behalf, because what is so core to Donald Trump's identity, and it's a lie, of course, is that he's this strong man, right? When in fact, he's just an insecure bully. And so we have to specifically call this out, because if Donald Trump positions himself as someone who is strong and unafraid, we're losing this battle over the truth of the matter, which is that Donald Trump is insecure, and his insecurities are damaging to our country. It's the reason why he wants to be an authoritarian. It's the reason why he wants to attack our democracy, because he is a person so insecure he can't lose, or is unwilling to admit that he did. And so we have to call out this baseline lie about Donald Trump, because it is so core to his identity and so core to the flaws that make him unfit to be president. And we're going to keep calling it out every single day on this show. And if you want to support that effort, as always, you can hit that subscribe button, you can leave a like, and you can drop a blue heart in the comments if you stuck around to the end. And if you want to take your support an extra step further, you can click that join button and become a monthly member supporting the show. As a college student, the support really goes a long way. And until next time, I'll see you soon.